A man finds himself trapped in a mysterious time loop with no idea why. To break free from his torment, he committed countless acts of killing, even tried to end his own life, but nothing worked. What exactly is going on? And can he ever escape this nightmare? The story begins in a bar. On TV, the news reports a deranged killer known as the Midnight Cartoonist. He hunted single women at midnight and urged the residents to stay on high alert. Inside the bar, the customers laugh it off, unaware that the killer has already arrived. When a new customer walks in, Anna quickly steps up to serve him. Strangely, the man orders nothing to eat or drink. He just wants to talk. Thinking it's just harmless small talk, Anna doesn't take it seriously and walks away. But as she finishes work and heads home, she finds Charlie waiting outside the door. Her heart sinks instantly. When he invites her out, she lies, saying she needs to go home and cook for her husband.
My husband is...
You're not married.
But Charlie immediately exposes her lie. As a serial killer responsible for multiple murders, being able to escape police capture time and again proved that he possessed an unusually meticulous mind. When he shook Anna's hand earlier, he was already assessing her situation. Realizing Anna isn't cooperating, he loses his last bit of patience. He follows her to the parking lot, and seeing no one around, Charlie pulls a weapon from his belt and forces her into his car. Yet, he doesn't strike right away. To him, the real thrill isn't the kill. It's watching the prey's desperate struggle before death.
Just tell me you want me. Tell me you want me.
With a swift stab to Anna's abdomen, her life ends, and Charlie enters the darkest moment of his existence. When he wakes up, he's back in the bar. The same broadcast, the same people. Even the woman he just killed is alive and well before his eyes. Charlie is stunned. Was everything that happened just a dream? Curious, he walked over to Sam, who was chatting nearby, but Sam looked at him with a strange, unfamiliar gaze. Next, Charlie finds Anna again and asks if she remembers him, but unexpectedly receives the same response. Spotting David eating alone, Charlie approaches with hope, but David ignores him completely. Helpless, Charlie sits back down. Driven by his twisted instincts, he waits at the door once again and blocks Anna's way. The same scene unfolds. Anna refuses his offer. Charlie pulls out his weapon, and once again, she dies inside his car. But in a flash, Charlie finds himself back in the bar again.
You're f***ing with me.
Who the hell are you?
You, okay? Okay, this is a good joke.
This time, he realizes it must be some elaborate setup. Surely these people are punishing him with this endless play. So he asked Anna to lift her shirt to check for the wound he had left with his dagger, but her body is perfectly unharmed. The bizarre sight shatters Charlie's sense of reality. Before he can process it, the group of young diners arrive.
We are close!
In that brief moment of distraction, Sam pulls out a weapon and takes him down. He thought everything would end there, but when he returned to the starting point again, all hope was completely destroyed. A supernatural phenomenon beyond human comprehension was happening to him. Unable to accept this absurd truth, Charlie tries everything to escape.
Hey, can you turn that up?
After many tests, he discovers that if he walks too far away, he'll instantly reappear inside the bar. Everything that happened before will repeat exactly as it was, and if he sleeps or dies, the result is the same. He wakes up again in the same loop. Usually such time loops have a specific way to be broken, like in Groundhog Day, where the protagonist escapes by finding true love. So, Charlie wonders, as a killer, maybe he can break free by killing someone specific in the bar. With that thought, he locks his eyes on Sophie, a nurse who's quietly eating her meal. When Sophie gets up to go to the restroom, Charlie follows her. But as he reaches the door, he realizes he doesn't have the right weapon. After all, his plan is to kill silently, and using a gun would cause too much attention. While thinking of what to do, he notices a staff room next to the men's restroom. Moments later, he walks out holding a knife. Noticing that no one around was paying attention, he quietly walked into the women's restroom and silently took Sophie's life. When he reappears, his face is covered in blood, but before he can savor the dark thrill of his crime, he realizes he's still in the bar. It seems Sophie is not the designated person. To avoid suspicion, he stuffs her body into the garbage cart, planning to dump it outside. But before he gets far, he runs into Marcos, the bar's janitor. Seeing Charlie sneaking out of the women's restroom, pushing a cleaning cart, Marcos immediately grows suspicious.
You did get it cleaned all up then?
Yeah.
Step aside.
Hey, look, I better take it.
Unexpectedly, there is such a kind-hearted person in the world, making Marcos suddenly feel somewhat embarrassed. Still, under Charlie's insistence, the two walk outside together. Unaware of his impending doom, Marcos complains about life's hardships as they walk. Suddenly, he notices that the garbage bin feels unusually heavy today.
Fucking heavy. What?
And just like that, Marcos becomes the next victim, stuffed into the trash. Before Charlie can catch his breath, Beth, who is looking for Sophie, unexpectedly also comes outside. It feels like fate is giving him another chance. Charlie invites Beth to get in his car so they can look for Sophie together. But Beth is unusually cautious and doesn't fall for it. Back in the bar, Charlie became the center of suspicion because he was the only one who had been outside just now, knowing that if he stalled any longer, he would definitely be exposed. Charlie decided to strike first. He walked up to a couple sitting in the corner, and under the man's shocked gaze, he suddenly ended the woman's life. The noise drew everyone's attention. Charlie quickly pretended that he had just bumped into the table by accident. But as the woman's body slid to the floor, his crime was finally revealed. Charlie counted the number of people, then prepared to unleash another round of slaughter. But just then, he noticed the chef in the kitchen was missing. When the loop began again, Charlie no longer hid his murderous intent. To break the cycle, he tried to kill everyone inside the bar. Loop after loop, killing after killing, he had no idea how many times this had repeated. Gradually, Charlie began to feel exhausted. The thrill of taking lives had completely vanished from his eyes. He didn't know how many loops it had been when hunger drove him into the kitchen, where he ordered the chef to make him some delicious scrambled eggs, but his rude tone earned only silence in return. That made Charlie feel insulted. To his surprise, the chef was able to resist his attack, and this discovery excited Charlie. After so many loops, he had finally met someone who could fight back. For fairness, Charlie put down his weapon and challenged the chef to a man-to-man fight. But the battle lasted only half a second before Charlie was knocked down instantly. Realizing he was no match for the chef, he returned again and politely placed the eggs on the table, asking the chef to make him an omelet.
We'll serve breakfast after 12.
I know. But I thought maybe cut me some slack.
No breakfast. No slack will be cut.
Having no other choice, Charlie went straight for another attempt, and unsurprisingly, he was defeated again. But in Charlie's world, the word surrender never existed.
No.
With every defeat, he learned more of the chef's techniques, and finally, in the last loop, he felt certain of victory. Satisfied,
Hey!
Charlie cracked 3 eggs into the bowl. As the scrambled eggs entered his mouth, the smooth and rich flavor spread across his tongue. In that moment, he felt his soul transcending, accompanied by a strange emptiness that came with success. It turned out, killing was not the right way to escape the time loop. Thinking about everything he had done, a faint sense of remorse began to rise in his heart. Just then, he noticed a priest had appeared in the bar, someone who had never been there in any previous loop. Could this man be the key to escaping this place? Charlie hurried over to the priest, begging him to help end his suffering. But the priest said he was powerless, and that Charlie's sins must be repaid by himself. If Charlie could truly change, there might still be a chance for redemption.
I don't know what to do. But what do I do? Start over.
At that moment, Charlie began to understand. When he returned again, the anger was gone from his face, replaced by a bright and gentle smile. He greeted Sam warmly and asked Anna to turn off the TV that was broadcasting his story. Then Charlie walked over to Sophie and Beth, thanking them for choosing a profession that helps others. To show his gratitude, he paid for their meals. Finally, Charlie approached the couple's table, and after countless loops, he already knew they both had families of their own. For the sake of their children, Charlie hoped they would think carefully before continuing this affair. Anna witnessed all of this, and as a single woman, she began to feel a quiet affection for the kind man before her. On their way out, she stopped Charlie, hoping to get to know him better. As a mature man, Charlie understood her intentions and opened the car door for her. However, before getting in, he quietly left his weapon in the back of the truck, as if wanting to cherish this hard-won relationship. In the closed and intimate space, they couldn't control themselves and shared a passionate kiss. The next second, an unexpected event occurred.
Thought we were almost there.
We're getting closer.
But this time, Charlie found himself inside a laboratory. The priest from before was now a doctor, and everyone from the bar had become medical staff. Seeing this, Charlie suddenly remembered everything. Turned out he had already been captured long ago for his countless crimes. To avoid execution, he had volunteered for a secret experiment where he would relive his past crimes over and over until he could achieve psychological rebirth and become a sane human being. Though the process was cruel, If he could pass the jury's review, his sentence would be reduced. However, Charlie remembered clearly he hadn't killed anyone in the end, but the police refused to believe him and sent him back to prison once again. Now Charlie dared not fall asleep. He smashed his head against the wall until it bled, terrified of returning to that endless loop. Anna rushed in and injected him with a tranquilizer. As a low-budget time loop thriller, Killing Loop has no grand special effects, but through the killer's repeated cycles, it explores the thin line between humanity and madness. It's worth mentioning that David in the film is actually played by the director himself, Keith Jardine. As his directorial debut, the film demonstrates impressive control, including a nearly 1 minute long take that perfectly captures Charlie's smooth, brutal actions and his deep desire for redemption. If you enjoy this type of movie, you should definitely check out the original film. It will give you a truly unique experience. That's all for today's movie. See you next time.